you have to watch an important speech made by Australian MP Zali Steggall, who represents Warringam in New South Wales in the Australian Parliament. She was speaking about the opposition party's racist attitude towards Palestinians because of the color of their skin or religious belief. Despite the speaker asking the opposition leader, Peter Dutton, to stop heckling Steggall during her speech, he continued. This forced Steggall to call Dutton a racist. You can watch the whole drama here.
It's extremely concerning to see the opposition turn up today with this suspension of standing orders and the words and the rhetoric that we're hearing here. It goes directly against the advice when it comes to ASIO and the concern around the polarisation in our communities and that whipping up a sense of fear and an inference that, for example, our services and systems are not working. And so what I would like to share is the human story, the real story about some of the people we're talking about, the lives they're talking. And I would ask you to be silent. I have the floor.
Order.
I would ask you to be silent.
The member for Cowper will cease interjecting. The member for Warringah will be heard just as other members were heard in silence.
In 2020, I met a man called Mohammed at the North Stain Surf Lifesaving Club. He had come to Australia under a visa approved by the Morrison government, under the same systems. He came to participate in a surf lifesaving skills program. He wanted to give the children of Gaza an opportunity to learn water safety, to not drown, to have something positive to have on weekends. They loved that program. They attended. Unfortunately, after the events of October, horrendous events of October, that program, of course, ended. The bombing started. Many people that participated in that program have died. Many of the children have died. These are normal families. These are families that you are seeking to paint that somehow they are all terrorists, that they should all be mistrusted and not worthy, that they are not worthy of humanitarian aid.
Order. The Leader of the Opposition will cease interjecting.
We heard you in silence. You can hear me in silence.
Order.
Stop being racist.
The Leader of the Opposition. Order. Order. There is far too... The Leader of the Opposition is seeking the call.
Well, it was an offensive and unparliamentary remark and it should be withdrawn.
Order. There is far too much noise. As I previously asked for the chamber to be silent, I'm just going to ask the member for Warringah if she made an unparliamentary remark to withdraw to assist the House.
Well, if I could have a clarification, is a description of language being racist an unparliamentary remark?
If the member just... The member for... The member for Kennedy... Order. The member for Kennedy will resume his... The member for Kennedy will resume his seat. Just to assist the House so the debate can keep going, as have been previously ruled, just ask the member to withdraw and continue.
I'll withdraw to assist the House. And I would ask that the same respect be shown to me to make my contribution on the chamber that you were afforded, something that does not seem to be a common occurrence when it comes to the opposition.
Order.
Again,
the member for Right.
So, this family, a beautiful family, where the father is trying to teach life-saving skills, water safety skills to children of Gaza, came under the coalition. They were vetted by the same systems.
The member for Petrie. Just if we can show more respect during this debate, it will greatly assist the House.
So this family, again, because it's very easy to dehumanise people seeking safety. It's very easy to paint a brush that somehow they are all to be feared. But the reality is we are talking about parents caring about their children, children that are at risk of, that are in a horrendous situation. And can I just point out, so after the events and just the horrendous situation they find themselves in, Mohammed sought to bring his family to safety, and he was able to. My community of the Northern Beaches, the community of North Staine Surf Club rallied behind this family, applied for visas, supported them, sponsored them. And they have, by hook and by crook, and I really don't, the details of it, of how they were able to reach safety is just quite incredible. They were able to get out, and I met with them only a few weeks ago in my office in Manly. And they're beautiful children that deserve the opportunity to grow up, to go to school, to have an education. And so to suggest that families like Mohammed's family are not deserving of being able to escape a war zone, of seek safety for their children, is offensive. And it goes against what it is to be Australian, which is to be there for people in need and to offer safety and security to people that deserve it. So I am offended by the rhetoric from the Leader of the Opposition, the nature of this suspension of standing orders, and the continued attempts to divide the Australian society around these lines and issues. We are better than this. We've just seen the Olympic Games, where we've got the idea that sport is bringing people together. Order. And you are doing everything you can to separate and divide our communities. We are multinational, multicultural country, Member for Kennedy. We are multicultural. And it's important to remember that.
Member for Kennedy.
This episode demolishes the myth that the Western society cares about human values and somehow is superior to the developing countries because of these qualities. The Gaza conflict has done one thing. It has truly exposed them. If anything, the so-called developing world and poorer nations have stood up for humanity. You can take an example of South Africa in the case of the International Court of Justice. America, the United Kingdom, the EU, Canada, Australia, all have shown more than once that these countries support the genocide of innocent Palestinian men, women and babies and their rapes by Israeli terrorists. Let's not forget just how brazen they have been in championing and promoting these genocidal ideologies. For 10 months, the terrorist country America justified the slaughtering of over 40,000 Palestinians, including 17,000 babies, saying that Hamas was using Palestinians as human shields. Whilst there is no evidence to support America's claims on Hamas using Palestinians as human shields, an Israeli newspaper, Haaretz, has now revealed that Israelis and not Hamas have been using Palestinians as human shields. And how does the American react to this development? Let Israeli terrorists investigate themselves.
Does Israel have a right to use Palestinians as human shield, as was reported in Haaretz? Are you aware of that report?
I've seen that report. I've seen that report.
Do you have any comment on that report? Is there any way for you to confirm it?
I've seen that report, Said. They are incredibly, these reports, they are disturbing, and we would urge Israel to immediately and transparently investigate these allegations and hold any potential perpetrators accountable. Israel has a responsibility to comply with its obligations under international humanitarian law, but I also just want to stress, Said, that they are just reports at this point.
But you often condemn Hamas for using Palestinians as human shields, and there is this big investigation now by an Israeli newspaper saying that the Israeli army has systematically using Palestinians as a human shield because they believe their lives is superior to the Palestinians. So do you condemn the Israelis for using Palestinians for the same purpose that you condemn Hamas?
So your colleague Saeed raised this issue before you walked in, and I will just echo that these reports are incredibly disturbing, and we urge Israel to immediately and transparently look into these allegations and hold any perpetrators accountable. But I also just want to stress, as I did with Saeed, that these are just reports at this point, and so what we would call on is for Israel to look into this and ascertain what's actually
So
going
what's
on.
make these reports and Israel and Hamas using Palestinians as human shields as fact on the ground? Because you're not there and you don't really verify.
Nadia, we know with incredible certainty that Hamas has a clear track record of using civilian infrastructure and protected facilities as areas of operation, as bases, and using as civilians as human shields.
As I have said before, the Gaza conflict has unmasked the West. It has shown just how racist, Islamophobic, and genocidal countries like the US, the UK, the EU, Canada, and Australia have been. They have lost the moral high ground to lecture others on humanity and democracy. These countries are the real terrorists and not anyone else. These so-called civilized people have a problem when you protest against genocide. They have a problem when you speak against the raping of Palestinian hostages by Israelis. They have a problem when you ask them to respect international laws and international humanitarian laws. They have a problem when you ask them to respect the verdict of the international courts that these same countries set up in the past. It clearly goes to show just how depraved these countries are. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.